Show me.
Hello everybody, Martial Arts Film Freak here. I have been on a cinematic adventure. It's Oscar season and I have not been watching any Oscar films. No, I have been marathoning every single film in the Kickboxer franchise. Someone had to do it. Now, I don't know about you, I'd imagine most people have probably only ever seen the first one. Maybe you've seen like one of the other random ones, but mostly just the first one. Everyone's usually just familiar with the first Kickboxer, because it's Van Damme, of course. But no, there are 7 so far. They're working on an 8th. And over the past week, I've watched every single one of them. And I decided that it is time to rank the Kickboxer films. Normally when I do a ranking video, most of the films in the franchise are good. You know, I ranked every Tony Jaa movie. Most of those are pretty dang great. I ranked every Bruce Lee film, I don't know, what did I even rank? I ranked other stuff, I don't remember. But usually it's mostly really good things. So this time it's going to be a challenge, ranking things that are mostly bad. Yeah, this is going to be weird. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Let's rank the films of the Kickboxer franchise. Let's start it off with the worst. Ranking from worst to best, here it is, number 7, the worst, Kickboxer 2, The Road Back. Kickboxer 2, The Road Back jumps ahead, I don't know, like 8 months after the first film, after Van Damme's film. We are now with the actor Sasha Mitchell playing the third Sloan brother. Of course, in the first film we get Eric and we get Kurt Van Damme. Now we are with David Sloan, back in the States, coaching at his brother's gym, coaching a bunch of kids. He's doing a good job. You know, he's a good dude. He's kind of doing it for the kids. He's a really nice guy. When he learns that Tong Po, the bad guy from the first film, felt dishonor, and out of result of getting beaten by Van Damme, murders both the other Sloan brothers, kills them, cold blood, gunshots to the head. We see a body, doesn't look at all like Van Damme. He doesn't really want to fight until, of course, somebody burns down his gym and a kid dies in the gym, and then like one of his students, who's a grown guy, decides to fight Tong Po, and that guy gets destroyed, and then finally David's like, fine, I'll fight the dude. Zien shows up, or whatever his name was, the coach from the first film, and yeah, this wasn't good. Sasha Mitchell seems to be a very competent martial artist, but it's like he's too textbook. Everything he does is just like I don't know how to describe this. Every kick he throws is like the way your coach teaches you to throw a kick, and you never like adapt it to yourself. This is weird. I feel like a martial artist would probably understand this. Like, when somebody teaches you how to kick, you just kind of copy them, and you never actually like make your own form, make your own way of like, how can I adjust this so knowing how my body works. What I'm saying is, there's no flair whatsoever to almost any of his movements. When you see Van Damme in a movie, you could see a man in a full black head-to-toe suit, not seeing his face whatsoever, and when you'd see him move, you'd be like, oh shit, that's Van Damme. Knowing who Sasha Mitchell is, after watching him in 3 movies, if I saw a silhouette of him in the distance, fighting, training, I would have no clue who he is.
It's white bread.
It also does not help that every fight is shot just dreadfully, horribly shot. The editing in the fights are so terrible. There's like the final fight with Tong Po is like, it's like a 8-minute long fight scene. 6 minutes of it is just watching like a close up of David's head just getting hit. That's like this. This is just a whole 6 minutes of an 8-minute long fight scene is this. It was definitely the worst of all of these movies. I didn't like it. The actor playing Tong Po came back though. Cool to see that guy. He doesn't show up for one of these movies and it's obvious. Next up, Kickboxer 3, The Art of War. This time, David and Cian are taking a trip to Brazil. Cian is now like the American kickboxing champion, even though in the first film he was very adamant about not wanting to fight, and the only reason he fought is because Tong Po was killing his dude. But I guess now he's super into fighting again, so he's the champion now. So he goes down to Brazil. Somebody almost steals his wallet. He chases him. Turns out it was a little boy and his sister. They become friends and start hanging out. And then the girl is getting kidnapped because she's going to get sex trafficked and he has to save her. And oh my god, this is Marentau. But he was going down there because he has like a championship fight or something. And you know, of course, the guy who is sponsoring the championship fighter is the guy who's the rich person who sex traffics a bunch of young girls, because that's gross. Movie's got to go there. First thing the movie does is kill a young girl for not being obedient. This movie went for it. This movie also went really Rambo 2. Movie went full on First Blood Rambo. First Blood Part 2 Rambo. Because, like, you know, they, like, storm a compound and, like, they're like, we can't go in there just fighting. People got guns in there. And it's like, you know, those guys are probably going to be pretty dang dangerous. No, they shoot him dead really easily. But, like, the kid is like, I live on these streets. I know where to go. We can go to this guy to get guns. And he goes to this guy and they get some guns and they go storm a place and they start shooting people. Cian, who is, like, if you've seen Cian in, like, the first movie, you wouldn't think that in, like, 2 movies later he'd just be popping fools. But the dude can shoot, I guess. The fights are better. They're kind of improved. The choreography still, David, Sasha's fighting is still very kind of just uninspired. The bad guy looks like a discount Fred Willard, so that was cool. All in all, I just was mostly bored, waiting for it to end, and really wanting to watch Marentau. Number 5, and this may be a shocker to some people, Kickboxer Vengeance. This one is the full-on reboot of Kickboxer. I thought for the longest time that it was a sequel. Truth be told, I've never seen this movie all the way through. I've only seen most of the fight scenes, which are bad. But seeing, like, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme, I had never seen up until this past week any other Kickboxer movie except for the first one. So I had assumed in canon of Kickboxer that Kurt lived. Van Damme lived. So I assumed that this was like a follow-up. And it's like, oh, now Kurt has been in the forest and he is going to train this new guy. Nah, full-on reboot. Kurt is now Alain Moussi, who is a excellent martial artist who has, in this movie, very little charisma. And then Van Damme is a new guy named Durand, and he's teaching him. The training sequences aren't as good as the original film. It's mostly just because watching Van Damme train is a lot of fun. He's very expressive. He's very charismatic. Alain Moussi, again, is an excellent martial artist. He does have his own flair. It's very, very fun. But his performance here is very wooden, and watching him train, I don't really care. Yeah. They didn't do a lot of the cooler things that the first movie did do, which you don't want them to do again. That's fine. The fight scenes are cut to absolute hell. There is a fight scene early on in the film where I just got a headache because I stopped paying attention to the choreography and I just started counting the cuts.
No, don't you start doing that. No, you're gonna make...
What is the director is like the same dude who like wrote it. And he's like, actually, no, the director was John Stockwell. Okay, never mind. So the movie is written by Dimitri Logothetis. He is very passionate about Kickboxer, I have found, listening to him on podcasts and stuff. But the movie was directed by John Stockwell, and I hope that guy never directs another movie again, because he just cut this movie to absolute garbage. What else did he direct? Into the Blue with Paul Walker? Oh, that was a car crash of a film.
It's been a long day without you, my friend.
I recognize a handful of movies this guy has directed. none of them I'd really recommend. And that makes sense because he just destroyed this movie. The fight scenes are cut to absolute garbage. The choreography is like fine. Alain Moussi is not charismatic at all, so it's hard to really care for that. Darren Shalaby's in there. Rest in peace, Darren Shalaby. You also have Gina Carano in there for doing really nothing. She didn't need to be here at all. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's a reboot. It's the same movie. Just watch the first one. Coming to the one that's in the middle of the road, the middle film. It's fine, it's not bad, it's not very good. We've got Kickboxer for... I'm trying to remember the title off the top of my head here. Kickboxer for... I got nothing. What is it called? The Aggressor. Kickboxer for the Aggressor. Whew, what a title. Okay, so this time, Tong Po is back, baby. That's right, he's still not dead. So this is like several years later. Cien is not in this movie. Good for him. And Tong Po has framed David Sloan for murder. He is now in prison, and Tong Po has also kidnapped David Sloan's wife. He got her, so he married somebody we learn about. And now the government is getting David Sloan out of prison because Tong Po is running an underground fighting ring in Mexico, and they say, hey, we need you to go to this underground fighting ring, make 2 friends, and stop Tong Po. And he's like, I also got to get my own vengeance. And they're like, you do your thing, just make sure you get Tong Po. Make sure you get Tong Po. So, now he's got to go infiltrate, another country and go into this illegal fighting ring ran by this maniacal bad guy. And oh my god, it's Enter the Dragon. Yeah, it's Enter the Dragon. There's even literally a scene where he like sneaks out at night and is like roaming the compound, and then the next day, Tong Po has to be like, there was somebody snooping around the grounds last night. That's not allowed. Don't do that. Severe punishment. You'll die. And then one of the friends gets tortured. Now I just want to watch Enter the Dragon. This is the film where Tong Po, the actor who played Tong Po, did not return. Instead, we got an actor named Kamel Krifa. Now, so Tong Po, I'm pretty sure was not an Asian dude. If so, he did not look the way he looked in the movie. Yes, they put some makeup on him, and it's not great, but it's acceptable, I guess. Yellow face isn't great, whatever. But at least he doesn't look like a monster. This dude looked like a monster because this dude, I guess, did not look at all like the original actor, and they just had to cake prosthetic upon prosthetic upon prosthetic and like bad eyelids and stuff, and imagine the movie Cloud Atlas, but like way worse. Like that movie looks kind of creepy, but this was like a trauma film or something. It was like this dude looked like he would fit in with like the Toxic Avenger. It was horrifying. I wouldn't want to fight that guy either. Oh, and also, I don't know if most of these movies went rated R, but this movie definitely did, because there's just like a softcore sex scene, like softcore porn sex scene, just right in the middle of this movie. For like no reason. Like it has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. Like David Sloan, when he's sneaking around at night, he's like sneaking into one area and he's like hiding back and there's someone in the next room having sex. And we just cut to that room and we're in that room for like 3 minutes just watching these people have sex. There's no reason for us to be there, but we see it. It's whatever. The reason I put this movie in like the middle and I enjoyed it more than the other ones is because it is just so Street Fighter and Tekken and Mortal Kombat. It's Enter the Dragon, but everybody on this compound is a different style. Like in Enter the Dragon, like pretty much everybody's karate except for Bruce Lee, of course. But like in this movie, like you got a jujitsu guy, a judo guy, like a Street Fighter. You've got a capoeira guy. You've got a karate person. You've got a kickboxer. You got this. You got that. And if I was more versed in like a vast pedigree of popular fighters throughout the late 1900s, I would recognize more faces. The only ones I really recognized was the Machado brothers, which I was like, I like the Machado brothers, that's pretty cool. And it was very nice to see all those different styles fighting each other, even if most of the fights really only lasted like, 3 hits, whatever. But I had a lot of fun, Give me a capoeira guy, give me a jiu-jitsu guy wrecking people. It was pretty fun. The final fight is not worth the wait. And so, okay, so he fights Tong Po, and he destroys Tong Po. Like, Tong Po is not a challenge anymore. Think about the first two films and how Tong Po was just wrecking fools, murdering them, making people look like a bloody mess. And he just destroys Tong Po without a challenge. Not a single sweat on this man's forehead beats Tong Po to shit. I was going to say to death. But here's the thing. He doesn't die. He doesn't get Tong Po. He gets his wife, he gets out of there, and we see Tong Po escape. What's the point of Tong Po escaping? He's been the bad guy for almost half of this whole franchise. He killed your brother. He killed your other brother. He helped burn down your gym, and a kid died. He beat the shit out of you and beat the shit out of your friend. He kidnapped your wife. He sent you to prison for like 2 years. And the government told you to kill him. He got away. What the All in all, though, I had fun with it. It was pretty fun, you know. Again, I liked seeing all the different styles fighting. I liked it. Number 3, Kickboxer Retaliation. Now this one is the sequel to the reboot film, which also had Tong Po, played by Dave Bautista. This one is a new bad guy, who is that big strong dude who was the Mountain in Game of Thrones. What is that guy's big hit name? Oh well, nope, that's a European name I'm not pronouncing. Bjornsson. That's all I got for you, buddy. Not trying it. But this time, David is now married to the woman he met in the first film. He is a kickboxing champion, whatever, all that stuff. Oh, sorry, MMA champion now. They have diverted from kickboxing to mixed martial arts. Pretty smart. I'm pretty cool with that. And now he has been kidnapped and taken back to Thailand because he, sort of like the second film in the original series, he has brought shame upon their like people kind of thing, and now he has to fight their new champion, which is also a white dude, so whatever there. And yeah, he has been kidnapped. He's held in prison with Big Country Roy Nelson. Who else was in there? Probably some other UFC fighters. These new movies, have many MMA fighters, famous MMA fighters, and I get that because I guess if you look back at the old movies again, if I was more well versed in the vast pedigree of famous fighters from back then, I would recognize more faces. But because I'm more familiar with current MMA fighters, I recognize a lot of MMA fighters. Mostly the older generation, like Vanderlei Silva, George St. Pierre. I think I maybe saw a Belfort. TJ Storm was in the last one too. Anyway, so this movie, it's better. It's an improvement. Dimitri Logothetis is now directing, which is good. He is not great. He's not an amazing director. If you've seen Jiu-Jitsu, I believe he directed Jiu-Jitsu, and that is just a mess. He is competent directing this film. I appreciated his competence. This one was also co-written by Logothetis, another gentleman, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. So that's fun. Oh, God. So what is there to even talk about on this one? It's a lot of the same stuff, you know. Training. Wife's trying to find him, but then the wife gets kidnapped. He's got to rescue his wife. The fight scenes are better. They're shot better. That's one thing I liked about Dimitri Logothetis stepping behind the camera, is the fights are shot way better. Your boy, Alain Moussi, better in this movie. Far more charisma. I liked it a lot. Even though I was very confused at the opening of this movie. The opening of this movie was so dramatic that I was like, is he now a famous actor and martial artist? Is this a movie he's starring in? And I got very confused. I didn't understand what was happening. Oh shit, Christopher Lambert is the bad guy. That's a thing. Mike Tyson was the other guy in the prison. He's training with Mike Tyson in the prison. Because he has a fight with Mike Tyson, which is kind of decent, and he's like, this dude punches like crazy, of course, and then they're both getting punished in the prison for fighting, and they're getting like lashes to the back, and Tyson's just taking it, just stone-faced taking it, while Alain Moussi is screaming, and then he's like, hey man, I want what you got. That stuff didn't even make you wince. And I'm like, I'd want that too. That's pretty dope. You know, it's just a lot of training. This movie is a lot of training, and none of the training, again, is really reminiscent of the first film's gravitas at all. It's fine. It's like, yeah, I accept this. And then the final fight was my problem with the final fight is it's mostly just Alain Moussi getting the shit kicked out of him. He's losing a majority of it, and then he comes back, and then he loses again, and then he dies for like 2 minutes, and then he's brought back with like an adrenaline needle.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch. I'm gonna hit you with your own pimp. I'm bad. I'm the baddest motherfucker in the world.
And then he starts fighting some more, and he's doing good, and then he starts losing again, and it was just getting really repetitive. It got to points where when he was down for long segments of time, I was skipping ahead 15 seconds, and I would skip ahead for at least 2 minutes of the time. Because it was just him laying on the ground, and the people being like, get up, you've got this, get up. Again, so like this is near the top of the list, but none of these movies are very good. It's a vast improvement upon the first reboot film, and it's better than most of these other really bad movies. Moving on. Number 2, the second place film, you've got Kickboxer 5, The Redemption. Yeah. This movie, we are no longer following David Sloan. No, we are now following Matt something. What's his name? Matt Reeves, played by the excellent Mark Dacascos. Mark Dacascos. I like him a lot. He's great. He's one of my very favorites. So now he is a different character. He is another champion caliber fighter in America, kickboxer, and he learns that David Sloan, our hero for the past few films, has been murdered. We actually see at the beginning of the film that this bad guy, who is played by James Ryan, Mr. Nagal, is in South Africa, and he's trying to put together a new fighting company, new kickboxing company, and he's trying to get champions from around the world to join. When they say no, he murders them. So we see like a silhouette of two dudes killing David, but you're going to tell me that this dude, who I have seen just destroying people for the past few films, especially the fourth one, where in the fourth film, he's pretty much unstoppable. Two dudes took him out? They didn't even shoot him. You see just like a silhouette of them beating him down. I refuse to believe that. David Sloan's out there somewhere. David Sloan's still alive. I think he faked his death. Then when one of Matt's friends, who is now the champion, is requested to join and he says no, he gets killed, and now Matt is pissed. Matt is on the hunt. Matt is looking out, and he's hunting down this dude, saying like, this dude killed two of my friends, I'm putting a stop to this. And so he goes to South Africa, and he meets Jeff Mead, Paul Croft character. The character is Paul Croft, played by Jeff Mead. They have actually a pretty fun relationship. I like that quite a bit. And he goes to South Africa with this dude, and they, they find the bad guy, and they stop it, and they fight him, and they do all the things. This movie was pretty fun. I actually liked this a little bit, quite a bit. Yeah, mostly because Mark Dacascos. Mark Dacascos can add just charisma and watchability to pretty much anything. And again, what I'm saying with like Van Damme having his own sort of flair, Mark Dacascos is just 100% flair, 100% substance. The dude is just wonderful. And if you actually look back at, the history of one of these actors, the bad guy, James Ryan, again, this movie takes place in South Africa. Apparently, he was like a martial arts action star in South Africa. So that's actually kind of cool. I like that a lot. This movie was directed by Christine Peterson, which is kind of cool. But so the fight scenes in this movie are much better. They are shot well. And what I believe this to be is Mark Dacascos at this point in his career. Let me take a look at his IMDb here to see when this movie came out compared to, the rest of his career. I'm going to scroll here a little bit. So he'd already done, let me see, which one of these is one of his movies? He'd done Double Dragon. Pretty much the only thing he's actually starred in at this point is Double Dragon. And, Only the Strong. So good on him for that. So what I'm saying here is, my point of view on why the fights are so much better here is, one, Mark Dacascos is great. Two, Mark Dacascos knows how to shoot, how to film Mark Dacascos. He knows what angles and everything make him look good. Same thing with the next film, with the last film here. Mark Dacascos knows how to shoot Mark Dacascos and make it look really, really good. And the fight scenes are fantastic. Mark Dacascos looks amazing because he is amazing. The fights are great. You get some dumb henchmen that are pretty fun to hang out with. The bad guy is pretty conniving. The characters are really good. I enjoyed the relationship between all of our heroes. It's just a pretty solid movie. It's hard to keep, I feel like I had a lot to say about the other ones because they're so bad. I don't really have a lot to say about this one because it was pretty dang good. I enjoyed it. Let me see. Let me check my notes here. Did I even have anything else to say on this? Nope. Pretty much already said everything I wrote down here. Mark Dacascos makes this movie good, and it's pretty dang good. I know that's nuts, because I had people messaging me like, oh my god, the 5th film was so bad. No, it just looks worse. The production quality, a few things like that, the camera quality, are lesser than all of the other films, but the actual quality of what's going down on screen is better than a majority of everything else we've seen. And number 1, the best, of course, you knew it. This is really pretty much an easy little one here. You know, what's going to top the first one? The easily the best one is number 1, Kickboxer. Just Kickboxer. Yes, it is the original. You've got Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Kurt Sloan in a foreign country, doing a tournament, doing a kumite, but it's not a kumite. And oh my god, this is Bloodsport. No, but for real, no, it is different. It's Bloodsport. This time, well, I mean, I've described the plot. I kind of described the plot of the remake. He is going to Thailand. He is his brother's trainer. This is again the same plot of the remake as the reboot. He is his brother's trainer. His brother is really badly injured, beat the shit out of by Tong Po, and now he has to go train with Cien in the forest and learn Muay Thai and fight Tong Po. What makes this movie so good is Van Damme and kind of Cien. Cien is quite good in this movie. I liked him a lot. Van Damme is just straight up charisma. There's a reason the dude got so famous. And you know, I'm not a big Van Damme fan. I'm really not. I'm not a fan of his choreography. I'm not a fan of... I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't like Van Damme choreography. It's kind of all the same. It's really repetitive. But I can appreciate the fact that Van Damme is just so graceful. The dude is one of the best on-screen fighters... My God... I was gonna say of all time. It's kind of hard when you look at like the history of everywhere, you know, martial arts films from all over the world and say he's one of the best, but I think yeah, he might be one of the best, because even in Hong Kong, you did have a good handful of guys who, even though they were really good, there was nothing about their style that made you look at them, like I said earlier, and say, oh, this is this person. But when you see Van Damme, you know it's Van Damme, man. Like, even if I don't like his choreography, I gotta appreciate his style, his flair, his moves. The dude's good. The movie's also really pretty because they have really nice locations, so you're getting Van Damme doing some really, actually, so again, like I said, with the training not really matching up to the first one, the training sequences in this movie are really fun. They're really good. I'd put them up there with the likes of, you know, your usually famous training stuff. You know, of course, I was going to say your Drunken Master and stuff like that, but I would even say like Rocky, you know. Rocky, Drunken Master, and Kickboxer are probably some of the, you know, and Karate Kid, I guess. You know, this movie's up there with some of the best training sequences of all time. And you put them in beautiful locations like an ancient ruins of Thailand, and that's just a really fun watch. It's a really fun movie. Van Damme is great. All the characters are great. Tong Po is an interesting villain. Well, he's a fun villain. He's not interesting. He's fun. Yeah, this is just a good one. Again, I have more things to say when the movie's bad, but Kickboxer is a good movie. I believe I have always preferred Kickboxer to Bloodsport. I have not seen Bloodsport in many years, but from what I remember, I preferred Kickboxer. What do you think? Which one do you prefer, Kickboxer or Bloodsport? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say. This movie's just a really fun, entertaining watch, and it's all because Van Damme. It looks really pretty. The characters are nice. Van Damme is fantastic. One of the best of all time, like I've already said. Yeah, that's my ranking of the Kickboxer films. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell me your favorite Kickboxer film. Okay, so scratch that. Don't tell me your favorite Kickboxer film, because it's going to be the first one. Tell me your favorite Kickboxer film that's not the first Kickboxer. Have you seen all the others? Which one do you like the most? Tell me that in the comment section down below, and tell me if you prefer Kickboxer or Bloodsport, because that is an interesting conversation that I like to have. Tell me all those things in the comment section down below. Martial Arts Film Freak on Facebook, Martial Arts Film Freak on Instagram, Tristan_Glover on Twitter, and Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Yes. Woo! A lot of energy in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Next up, number 6, Kickboxer 3. What is the fucking title?